Paul quotes Isaiah when he said, how beautiful are the feet of those who take the good news. How beautiful are the feet. Perhaps you've heard that. It's a quote from Isaiah. And what he's talking about here is the beautiful feet of the herald. Now, in the 5th century BC, the Greeks and the Persians were at war, and they were in a battle on the Marathon Plain. And the Greeks won the battle. And man, they wanted to get the news of the victory, the good news, back to Athens in a hurry. So they commissioned a guy named Phidippides to be the herald, to take the message of victory back to, they couldn't pick up the phone and go, won, bang, there it is, social media, we won, it's all over, right? Man, they had to have somebody take the message. And so he ran the entire way from Marathon Hill to Athens, which was 26.2 miles, which is where we get the word marathon, by the way, right? So I've always wondered, 26.2, who come up with that crazy thing? You know? You ever see those signs on the back of somebody's car, 26.2, and some of you going, what's that about? Well, it's a marathon, right? Now, here's what I always, 13.1, you ever saw those? I hope none of you have that on your car because I'm about to make a joke. But when I see 13.1, I'm like, why would you put that on your car? That's like saying, I'm JV, right? If I didn't win the whole thing, I'm not putting I'm JV on the back of my car. If you got that on there, congratulations, good for you, man, keep it up. That's great, it really is. I didn't do 13.1, okay? So obviously, that's great. But now, can you imagine Phidippides? He's running 26.2 miles, and they didn't have Nike Pelagius running shoes, right? Or Adidas Boost. Man, they didn't pay hundreds of dollars for those running shoes, and neither do I, obviously. So they didn't do that, and so he's running. Can you imagine his feet by the time he runs 26.2 miles and whatever he had wrapped around his feet, bloody, battered, dirty? They wasn't the best looking feet in the world, but when he pulls into Athens, they're beautiful feet because they're bringing the good news. Right? Now think about Isaiah. Isaiah said how beautiful are the feet of the one who brings the good news. Now in Isaiah's day, and then Paul quoted Isaiah, and in Paul's day, they didn't have Nike and Adidas running shoes. And they didn't have the paved roads or the rubber tracks. And they walked, and they had sandals at best or barefooted, and their feet was on rough roads. And man, you didn't generally look at somebody's feet and go, oh, that's a beautiful person, right? But I'm telling you what, the feet who brought the gospel to you, if you believed it and responded to it, those are some beautiful feet. It doesn't matter what they look like. How beautiful are the feet of the one who brings the gospel. And that's what Paul is saying is you are to be a herald with beautiful feet. Is your feet beautiful or are they wasted for eternity? That's the question. Romans chapter 1, verse 5, Paul says this, through whom we have received grace and apostleship. We've received grace, Paul says, and apostleship. Why? To bring about obedience of faith. See, Paul says, why did God save us? Why did he give us grace? To bring about obedience of faith for the sake of his name among the nations. So Paul said, you know why God saved me? So that I'd herald the gospel, so that people would hear, so that they would believe, so that they would call upon him to be saved. That's why you're saved. Salvation is not just about you and heaven. It is about God and his glory. It is about you living on mission for the glory of God. There's an old African proverb that says, in the desert, there is one crime worse than murder, and that's knowing where the water is and telling no one. Do you know, folks, as a believer, you know where the living water is. You know where the living water is. Do you tell anyone? Do you tell anyone? You are the herald. You are the herald who takes the message.